guys, welcome back to my channel. Hit the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Today I've created this really easy, soft daytime makeup look. I'm off for afternoon tea with my nan, so I wanted something really subtle and very fresh looking. The foundation I've used is the BareMinerals Original Foundation, which I am in love with again. So if you want to see how to create almost a full coverage makeup look using that, then keep on watching. It feels like ages since I filmed a makeup tutorial, but that's because I've been away for the week with my sister. We've been to Turkey for the week and my face feels so pale because my body's got a nice colour to it, but we, as you know, both suffer with melasma, so we had hats on the whole time, sunglasses, so our face didn't get any sun. It's got a tiny cast of colour. You have to excuse my messy hair, I've not put any dry oil in it yet, so I'm going to pin it out the way for now and get on with the tutorial. So to prep my skin, I'm going to be using the MURAD Oil and Pore Control Mattifier. I've used this in so many tutorials because I swear by it. I use it on myself, I use it on my clients. This is their new one that has SPF 45. You'll need a very small amount. So the original one contains SPF 15, and this one smells a bit nicer than the original. The other one smells a bit like PVA glue. I don't mind that because it smells like it's not going to irritate your skin as such. So I like to put this on the T section of my face because that's where I get oily, and this is incredible. Now it does say that although it contains SPF 45, it doesn't flash back or cause a white cast to the face. I've not tested it. The original one doesn't do that. So I'm excited to see how this one goes. Whenever I wear this, I always notice that I don't have to block my skin throughout the day. It's incredible. So this one contains avocado and African yellow woodbark extracts. That might be what's giving it that scent. It doesn't smell perfumed, it just has a scent to it, but it's really nice. On the high points of my face, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This one is number 4. The foundation that I'm going to be using will give me a dewy finish. So I'm using a synthetic brush to work this in. Because this is a creamy liquid, use the synthetic brush so it doesn't get clogged in the bristles. That just adds a really nice glow to the skin. I'm going to add something quite subtle and sort of natural to the eyes. Today I'm going to use the neutral Biba palette by Natasha Denona. I know it's an expensive palette, but I just really want to try it because I've only swatched it and I've not used it yet. So I'm going to take the colour Tusk and Freckle, and I'm going to use that just to add a subtle contour to the lid itself, and then I'm going to go in with Monroe and add that to the actual eyelid. So the first brush I'm going to take is the Sigma E36 blending brush. It's so similar to the Blank Canvas Cosmetics one that I love, but they're not being sold on Beauty anymore, so I'm going to try and come away from using those ones as much because you guys find it hard to get. So taking Tusk and Freckle, I'm working that on the outer C shape of the eye. This is a really easy classic eyeshadow shape to create. As usual, I'm not going to take it much higher than the highest point of my eyelid when my eye is open. So we're going to make sure that we create the C shape and then use what's left on the bristles to pull the colour outwards a little bit just to elongate the shape of the eye. And remember, it doesn't need to be too neat at this stage. We're using this brush to lay down the colour, and then we're going to go in with a blending brush to create a bit more of a softer finish. A good tip when you're using matte eyeshadows is that if you get any patches or you feel like it's a little bit too dark for your skin, go in with a lighter shade like I'm doing here, and that's just going to lighten the eyeshadow overall, but it's also going to make it look like it blends a lot nicer. And then you can go in with a bigger blending brush and just soften all of those seams, and this will just give you a very soft finish to the eye, but it will just contour it. The brush I'm using is by ZOEVA. It's the 228 Luxe Crease brush, and this has a pointed finish to it. What makes this great is that the point itself will sit in the actual socket of your eye. When you do the window wiper motion, the bristles that surround the point will do all the blending for you. I'm now using a patting motion, taking a little bit more of Tusk and Freckle, and using the length of the brush, I'm extending that eyeshadow further. You're not really going to be able to see the entire look come together until you've done all the foundation and stuff, because this isn't majorly different from my skin tone. It's very nude, but the idea is it just creates a contour to the lid. Going back to my pointed crease brush, I'm working the bristles upside down so that the product that's already on the bristles stays in the area that has eyeshadow on it, and those clean bristles will do the blending on the top half of the eyelid. Now I'm going in with a flat shader brush. This is a 232 brush by ZOEVA, and I've dipped that into the shade Monroe from the Biba palette. To minimise the fall down, I'm using a patting motion to get the majority of that colour onto the mobile lid, and then I'm using a swiping motion because this is going to make the eyeshadow look more metallic, and again it's also going to prevent any other little pigments or particles falling down. I then just like to go back in with a very small amount of the 2 brown shades on my brush and just redefine the socket line. Sometimes applying a shimmery pigment can kind of knock back the brown contour colour, so it's just good to go back in and redefine it. And then just finish that off with another blend using your bigger blending brush. Holding the skin taut on the side of my eye, I'm going to run a very small amount of the Coffee Pencil by MAC along my lash line. As it's a daytime look, I don't want anything as harsh as eyeliner. I want to define the lash line, making it look a little bit fuller. And that's a great tip to do if you're not going to be applying false eyelashes, which I'm not going to be doing today. I'm just going to be wearing mascara. Keeping that skin taut, I'm also going to pull the eyeliner out a little bit to create a bit of a wing. Next I'm taking the ZOEVA 236 Smudger brush, and this is a stiff brush with all the bristles tightly packed together, and it's the best brush to use for smudging out a kohl pencil along your lash line. Where the bristles are stiff, you're able to pull the kohl pencil out to create a bit of a wing, so just use small little wiggly motions to soften that pencil. A little tip of mine is to use something like this, which is the Wet n Wild Megaliner, which is a super soft foam tip, so it's nice and soft on the eyes, and I use this to tight line. Kohl pencils are great, but they do tend to print down and transfer, and over the day they just tend to migrate and move. Whereas this sets in place and it just doesn't move. So if I'm not applying a kohl pencil to my lower lash line, then I use this to tight lines. It stays in place, it diminishes any pinky tones, and also it only cost me £3. Another little tip I like to do is to apply a tiny amount of the kohl pencil along my lower lash line. I'm not applying it on the waterline, instead I'm using a very small stipple motion to press that between the lashes to create a little bit of darkness. It shouldn't look like a kohl pencil, instead it should just look like I've got a darker lash line. Sadly, my favourite mascara of the moment is the Christian Louboutin one, and it is ridiculously expensive for a mascara. The wand is nothing to look at. It doesn't look special, but honestly, it's the most incredible mascara that I've ever used, and whenever I wear it, I always get compliments on my eyelashes. I love it so much so that I even keep a spare one because the wand itself is so good. I use it with other mascaras to separate all my eyelashes. This one is a little bit dry, but that's what I really like about it. I can use it with another mascara without worrying about contaminating the fresh mascara inside the tube because this one's empty. The mascara itself is about £55, and with postage it's usually about £60, so it's more one of those ones you might want to ask for Christmas or for a special occasion like your birthday. I do find myself consistently rebuying this product, but I don't drink and I don't smoke, so it's my little indulgence. And if you got as many compliments about this mascara as I do, you would find yourself repurchasing it as well. It's brilliant. So before I finish off my eyes and my brows, I'm going to do the BareMinerals Original Foundation. I used to absolutely adore this foundation years ago, and it's not like a regular powder foundation. It's almost kind of silky and like a satin. So I've put a small amount on, I've worked it into the lid. Now the key is buffing. The more buffing you do, the more flawless of a finish you'll get. So you can already see that this side is starting to look more even. I like this brush because it's got a big surface area, so you can really cover a lot of your face in a short amount of time. And the longer you wear this, the more beautiful it looks. You'd think that it's going to give you a matte finish. They do a matte version. I'm not as much of a fan of that because it gives more of a chalky appearance. But that's just on me, other people love it. The original one can be too dewy for some people that are oily, but I love it, especially if I'm pairing it with the MURAD oil control, because I don't get extra oily. Instead, I just get a really beautiful, soft, satiny, dewy finish. I would say that out of all the foundations out there, this is the most underrated. It really is beautiful. And as I said, it's really buildable, so you can build it up to a more full coverage. Callie was the first one, my twin. She was the first person to show me this years ago, and she liked it then. And while we was on holiday, I got her back into using it. And every time we was out, I was like, God, your skin looks so flawless. She's looked so beautiful. I tend to go with a slightly smaller brush and just dip it into the lid just to pick up whatever's left. And then I work that into the corners of the eyes, because this brush is a little bit big. If you've already applied dry makeup, you can't get in there. By layering it up, it's evened out my skin tone, and I've not even applied any concealer. Right, let's get some brows on. I'm going to use my MAC Shape and Shade Brow Tint. Even though I absolutely love the Urban Decay one, I just can't get a colour to match as well as the taupe shade from MAC. They do a taupe shade in Urban Decay, but it's not dark enough. The neutral nano shade that I've got that I used in the tutorial is just a little bit too warm. So I'm really hoping they're going to bring out a few more shades. So I've already done a tutorial on how to use this product, so I will link them on screen for you. So I've done one eyebrow and you can see it's a super natural finish, but it just makes the world of difference. Today I'm going to use the Benefit Boi-ing Hydrating Stick Concealer, whatever its new name is. This was called Fake Up, and I've obviously still got that old packaging. It's got the concealer in the middle and then like an anti-crease balm around the outer edge, and that stops it from creasing, but it stays hydrated. It's one of the best ones I've ever used. So I'm just going to pop a very small amount of that underneath both eyes. I'm just going to use my finger to pat that in. Don't want anything too intense because it is a day look. So last week I received this new collection by BareMinerals. In here is their new Clean Glow collection. They've got some liquid highlighters, they've got pressed highlighters, they have a new Dew Mist setting spray. So if you're all about the glow, definitely check out the BareMinerals stuff. They're cruelty free. I just think they do amazing products. I feel like everybody's gone so crazy for that full coverage Instagram style. BareMinerals are producing products to enhance your beauty and not mask it. Also in the collection are two new bronzers. We've got Faux Tan and Warmth. See, Faux Tan is quite a cool bronzer and the Warmth is obviously warmer. So yeah, I'm going to use Warmth. I'm going to take my ZOEVA Luxe powder finish brush, the number 132, and I'm going to use this over the cheekbone area. So I'm going to use it to partly sculpt and partly warm up the face. I'm already warmer because I've not got tan on my face, so the foundation has given me a lot of colour anyway, which is great, but we want it to look more three-dimensional. We don't want it to look like one tone and very flat, otherwise that will look like I'm wearing something on my face rather than my face naturally having a bit of colour from holiday. I love this brush as well because it's small enough to kind of work into the hollows of the cheeks, but it's not so small that it doesn't disperse the colour enough. If you use something that's too small, you end up with a pattern on your face rather than airbrushed finish. Some companies bring out a variety of different shaped brushes, but they've not actually taken into consideration that it's not just the shape of the brush that makes the difference, it's the density of the bristles. And that's why I love my ZOEVA brushes, because they've all got a purpose. Let's share that with you. I love this bronzer because it's really subtle. Not got to worry if I put too much on my brush, it's going to make me look like I've rubbed my face in the sandpit or something. For blush, I'm going to take this one which I received this week. This is the Makeup Academy Blushed Liquid Cream Blush, and I think this is about £1 in Superdrug. The shade I've got is called Peach Puff. I've not tried this before, so we'll see what it's like together. I hope it doesn't ruin my makeup. I was really disappointed because I've got to go out. I'm going to use a synthetic brush because it is a cream liquid consistency. Oh, it's quite light. It could be buildable, but it's quite liquidy and I don't want that to remove my foundation. Okay, it's quite pretty. It's very subtle, that particular shade. And I think maybe if you're a bit fairer, it will show up a bit more. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of mixing. Could be a mistake. I'm going to mix together Taupe Tango and Peach Puff. We'll come up with something in between and pray that it goes okay. So I'm going to pop it on the apples of the cheeks. That's a little bit better. It only needs to be subtle, but I'd like it just to show a little bit more. So I'm going to apply it with one brush and then take a dry brush and just pat that over the top. I don't want to blend it out any further, but I want to push it into the skin because I don't want to disturb the makeup underneath. It's very pretty though. For the price, it's incredible actually. It's a little bit like a watercolour blush, but with a very slightly thicker consistency. It's very, very sheer. It's not completely mattifying and it's not super dewy either. I really, really like it. And it's buildable. I really like that. Oh wow. Can also be used on the lips. This week I received the new Emile Cordon Hamptons Summer Miracle Lip Balm, which is this shade here. It doesn't come out green, it comes out clear. Moroccan Mint, Bergamot and Fresh Sea Water, that's the scent of it. It's really refreshing, so I'm going to pop a little bit of that on my lips to give them a little bit of hydration. This is so luxurious. I also have a discount code if you guys are interested. They're not cheap lip balms, but you will not find anything like them. So I have the new Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. I have 2 of them. I purchased them myself, and when I purchased them, they sent me this free summer pouch, which is really beautiful. I've done a blog post on these. I'm going to use the shade Go Lightly. I also got Rainbow Spill, but I need a day where I'm kind of in the zone for wearing something super saturated. Go Lightly is a kind of corally shade. It's quite vibrant, but it's a semi-sheer finish. But I'm going to use a very small amount of this. That's why I put balm on first, because I only want a very light coverage. So I'm going to use my finger to apply it. And I'm going to tap it on because I want something very subtle, like I've got on the cheeks. If you're wondering what I've got on my nails, it's the one I always wear. It's my favourite. It's a gel finish. It is OPI's gel in Got Me in a Jambalaya. It's my favourite. And look, it matches my lipstick. Very subtle. It is a bit more intense if you go straight from the bullet onto your lips without a balm. I will use them in future tutorials, but for now, that's all I'm gonna put on because I want something very light. I hope you guys enjoyed my quick and easy tutorial. If you would like a more in-depth tutorial about the BareMinerals full coverage foundation, let me know. I forgot to say it also contains SPF 15. All the products I've used will be listed and linked in the description, but if you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you for watching and I will see you soon. Bye.